Thank you for checking out this little teaser of the history of the papacy and church. Here's a little taste of what's coming up soon on the History of the Papacy podcast. Now, if you like what you hear, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. If you want to support the podcast even more, consider becoming a Patreon on patreon.com/history of the papacy. There are many levels and benefits for you, and you help keep the history of the papacy going. You can learn more about all of this at historyofthepapacypodcast.com. With that, here's another piece of the mosaic of the popes of Rome and Christian church, and I will definitely be talking to you more soon.
By the name of Norman Borlaug, who, due to his ingenuity and ability to cross-pollinate wheat and make it more resilient in different climates, basically saved 2 billion people from starvation. I want to do a little bit of table setting about Borlaug and the era in which he lived. So one of the great fears of the 20th century and the conventional wisdom among the smart set is that the challenge that was going to happen and the greatest threat to global civilization was overpopulation. This goes back to Thomas Malthus, but there were books about this. If you go and watch movies from the 60s and 70s, there's Soylent Green with Charlton Heston, where future New York has 40 billion people or 40 million. There's a Star Trek original series episode about this. Dear listeners, I even purchased an episode of Captain Planet about overpopulation. And it's where one of the characters named Wheeler gets kidnapped by a race of super intelligent mice whose civilization is on the verge of collapse. It's as stupid as it sounds because of overpopulation. At the end of the episode, one of the Planeteers even stares right at the camera and says, "Kids, when it's your turn to have a family, don't make it too big." And I thought, you're way out of your lane, Captain Planet. Tell me about jaywalking. That's just creepy that you're talking about family planning. Anyway, but the reason that this was such a popular idea was because of a 1968 book by Paul Ehrlich called The Population Bomb. And he basically predicted charting out population growth with the ability of global agriculture to produce food that he said, the race to feed humanity is over. Hundreds of millions